On behalf of the Valero Alamo Bowl, welcome to today's press conference here in San Antonio, sunny and 72 degrees at the club at Sonterra. Today, it's a kickoff of our December events with the Security Service Insurance Golf Classic, where all the proceeds benefit the Valero Alamo Bowl scholarship programs. For today's press conference, we have with us Valero Alamo Bowl President and CEO Derek Fox, our Valero Alamo Bowl Chair, Randy Smith. With Valero, Executive Vice President and Chief Operating Officer Gary Simmons. Representing our two participating universities, first from this year's visiting team, Jedd Fisch, head coach of the University of Arizona, and from this year's home team, Brent Venables, head coach of the University of Oklahoma. Joining via Zoom are media members covering the universities. If you're on the Zoom and want to ask a question, please use the raise hand feature. Media here in person will ask to raise their hand and we will bring you a mic. Please address your question to one coach at a time. We will begin with opening remarks from Valero Alamo Bowl Chair Randy Smith.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us here today at the Security Service Insurance Golf Classic. We kick off a very exciting month of bowl activities, culminating on December 28th at the Alamo Dome, where the number 14 Arizona Wildcats will take on the number 12 Sooners of Oklahoma. We knew this was going to be special when we announced it on Sunday, and that has only really been validated by the last several days of tremendous amount of media attention and fan interest. We've been ranked as the top bowl outside of the New Year's Six, and we believe that this game will deliver on that yet again. Our ability to do this, to bring such outstanding programs to San Antonio and to our community, is a real testament to the community support that the bowl has received in its 30+ years here in San Antonio. Valero was one of our original sponsors in 1993. 14 years later, in 2007, stepped up to become our title sponsor and has been with us ever since. And just a ton of gratitude is always how I like to open these remarks, Gary, to you and Valero and all your teammates at Valero for what happens for our community. We are so proud. You'll never hear me stop saying this. We are the #1 bowl in scholarship giving, period. And that's something that would never happen without you, whether it's the Valero Alamo Bowl or the Valero Texas Open. Valero exemplifies the servant's heart of San Antonio's community, and we're just very grateful. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Gary. Thank you.
Well, thanks, Randy. The Valero Alamo Bowl has been a game changer for the city of San Antonio, and we're proud to be a part of that growth. We're certainly excited about the matchup between number 14 Arizona, number 12 Oklahoma, another top 15 matchup at the Valero Alamo Bowl. We applaud the teams and their coaches and their families for the exceptional effort during the year, all culminating in the memorable moment on December the 28th. Many people will tune into ESPN game day to watch these two teams compete, but it's equally rewarding to see the city of San Antonio become more alive during bowl week with the teams and their fans here, creating a very festive atmosphere for everyone. Many thanks to the Valero Alamo Bowl team for all they do every year to make this event such a success. I'll hand it back to Derek to introduce our coaches.
Great. Thank you again, Gary, for your support. As always, it's fantastic. And without your support, we couldn't reach such highly ranked teams that excites the fan bases coming to San Antonio and turns on TV sets. And the coaches already promised me backstage for an exciting game, right, coaches? So the Valero Alamo Bowl is certainly San Antonio's holiday tradition. And when you have two outstanding programs and coaches like we do for this year's game, it's going to be another special night on December 28th. So on behalf of the Valero Alamo Bowl, I'd like to welcome Coach Fisch and Coach Venables to San Antonio. And congratulations to both of you on the success. And we appreciate you bringing your teams here for what's going to be a great bowl week. We promise you a great time. First, I'd like to introduce our University of Arizona head coach, Jedd Fisch. This is Coach Fisch's 3rd season at the helm of the Wildcats. Over the past 2 seasons, Arizona has had one of the most explosive offenses in college football, finishing tied for 14th in the regular season with 72 plays of 20 yards plus in 2023, and finishing 9th in college football with 84 plays of 20 yards plus in 2022. The Wildcats went from 1-11 to 5-7 in 2022 to 9-3 in 2023, marking an 8-win improvement from 2021 to 2023, which is the largest win improvement in the span of 2 seasons in program history. My math is right. 1, 5, 9, 13, right? No problem. No pressure for you next year, Coach. But seriously, Coach Fisch and Arizona are building something special in Arizona, and we certainly welcome them to San Antonio in this year's Valero Alamo Bowl, their first bowl trip in 2017, and looking for a finish the season with 10 wins and a top 10 finish. So with that, Coach Fisch, on behalf of the Valero Alamo Bowl, we're excited to welcome you and the Wildcats back to the Valero Alamo Bowl for their second visit and the first time since 2010. Welcome.
Thank you, Derek. Appreciate it very much. And thank you, Randy, and obviously Gary for putting this game on. The Valero Alamo Bowl, as we all know, is one of the best bowl games in all of the bowl season. And to be a part of it this year is a fantastic opportunity to play a blue blood program like Oklahoma and what Coach Venables has done there in the short period of time. We know that we've got our work cut out for us. 10-win team in 2023 and another team that went, I think, up 4 wins from a year ago till today. So we know both of our teams are hopefully on the rise and continuing to build what we want to build, which is something special and sustainable. And I told our team we have a chance to play a team like Oklahoma in this bowl game, and that's a very, very special opportunity for our team. So we can't wait to get here. Well, a couple weeks away, 3 weeks away from kickoff. So we're going to do everything we can to prepare our team and prepare our kids and hopefully give a incredible game to San Antonio.
Great. Thanks, Coach Fisch. Now let's talk to the University of Oklahoma head coach, Brent Venables. In Coach Venables' second year leading this program, OU finished with a 10-2 regular season record and a number 12 ranking, and has displayed a potent offensive attack that has the Sooners ranked 3rd nationally in points per game and 5th in yards per game. On defense, OU ranks 1st among Power 5 teams with 19 interceptions. This is the second bowl game as head coach, but the 34th bowl game in his coaching career, including 3 national championship victories. This is the second bowl game appearance in San Antonio, having coached the 1998 Alamo Bowl for Kansas State with legendary coach Bill Snyder. Coach Venables, on behalf of the Valero Alamo Bowl, we're thrilled to welcome the Sooners back to San Antonio and since 2021 in the victory over Oregon. Now I'll turn it over to you for your opening statement.
Well, thank you, Derek and Gary and Randy. As well, I'd like to reiterate what Coach Fisch said. What an amazing venue this is, a fantastic bowl game experience, as good as there is in college football. I've been to San Antonio several times throughout the last 25 years. And obviously was here back in 1998 with the Wildcats. And so had firsthand experience as a young coach, the quality of a bowl game experience that y'all have put on. The San Antonio community is a community that's passionate and connected, supportive in every way. Been here to several events throughout the years. Certainly we came and competed in a Big 12 championship here against the University of Missouri back in 2007 as well. And then 2 years ago, seemed like it was last week, to watch Oklahoma and Oregon compete. You know, the atmosphere, the intensity, the passion, the support was, again, having been to several bowl games throughout the years, as good as that I've been around. I'd like to congratulate again Coach Fisch and his staff, his football team. There's nobody in college football right now that's playing better football the last half of the season than the University of Arizona. 6-game win streak. It's hard to do. They've done it against really quality opponents. A lot of people that we've got great respect for, whether it's UCLA or it's your crosstown rival, or it's certainly what they were able to do to Utah just a few weeks ago, led by Fafita, redshirt freshman quarterback that was the player of the year in the conference. Receivers, you've got one over 700 yards and one 1,300 yards. The running backs averaging 7 yards a carry. Defensively, top 25 in scoring defense. And they've just done an amazing job efficiency-wise and building the team the right way. And so our players recognize that. They've got a good sneak peek at Arizona, again, in one of the best conferences in college football of this season. They placed 3rd and had an opportunity. It was really a miracle. They didn't win another game or two. That came right down to the last play of the game. And so we got great respect, admiration. We're going to have to be well prepared. And this is a team that's going to be hungry, going to be focused. And again, as Coach said, they're looking forward to having an opportunity to match up against us and vice versa. This is, again, one that for us in building our program the right way, everything matters. And this is another opportunity for us to improve. We'll have an opportunity to play several guys, maybe making their first starts of the season in this game, and to show our competitive depth. Great opportunity for us not only to finish the season the right way against another quality opponent, but also moving and transitioning into the SEC, an opportunity for us to continue to prepare and build our program.
Thank you, coaches. For media on site today, please raise your hand and we'll bring you a microphone to ask your question. If you're on the Zoom call, please click the raise hand options and you'll be called on and unmuted to answer your questions. For those on social media, use hashtag Valero Alamo Bowl and I will ask the coaches questions. ASAP is transcribing this press conference, so please help them on the Zoom if you give your name and affiliation. Transcripts and video will be put to our Dropbox and the YouTube after the press conference. Any questions in the room? Back, Brent.
Hey, how you doing, coaches? I'll start with you, Coach Fisch. So just how big of an advantage is it for you all to be playing in front of a San Antonio audience? I know with your recruiting base possibly being here.
Yeah, well, I would just say in our transition from the Pac-12 to the Big 12, it's really important for us to start making more of a presence in Texas. If you look at our team, we have 5 players on our roster from Texas. We know that as the years progress, starting next year when we'll be playing in the Big 12, we're going to have to add more players from Texas into our program, and we'll have more of a recruiting opportunity because of the fact that we'll be playing in the state against TCU and Baylor and Houston and Texas Tech. So it would probably be a kickoff for us into the Big 12 this game, and really be able to see and show our players and let the state of Texas see the type of energy that our players play with. And hopefully the high school coaches in the state will be excited about sending their players to us.
Very good. Let's go to the Zoom. We'll unmute John Hoover. You have a question for either of the coaches?
Yes, I do. Thank you for taking my question. And Brent, congratulations and appreciate you doing this. First question is about Dylan Gabriel. What can you tell us about his plans? What can you tell us about your conversations with him? And is he going to be able to participate in the Alamo Bowl, or is that all strictly Jackson Arnold at this point?
That hasn't been finalized yet, so I'll comment on that when it's the appropriate time. And but Dylan's been amazing. He's obviously played his best football this year. We wouldn't have put ourselves in this position and had the kind of success we did, certainly the turnaround that we did from year 1 to year 2 without Dylan and all of his hard work, his leadership, his commitment. He made everybody around him better. So really, really thankful and proud of Dylan, and he's going to have whatever is next for him. I promise you, he's going to have his hands all over it. It's going to be, a really successful transition for him.
Okay, let's go stay on the Zoom. Justin Spears, if you have a question for either coach.
Yeah, Justin Spears from the Arizona Daily Star. This one's for Coach Venables. Coach, for Arizona, one of their biggest turnarounds is on the defensive side of the ball. As a defensive coach, what stands out to you about what they're able to do there? Well,
they play with incredible passion and energy. I think number 5 leads the Pac-12 in tackles. He's just disruptive, always around the football. They play with great confidence. They know what they're doing. They're very well coached, fundamentally sound. You're going to have to earn everything that you get.
All right, back to the Zoom. Garen Emig.
Hey, Brent, appreciate you taking time. I wanted to ask about the challenge of player retention this time of year with all the guys who either enter the portal or make decisions about their NFL future. Does that make things difficult in terms of picking up where you left off from the gains you made defensively this year, especially?
I don't know if it makes things difficult. I think it gives guys opportunity. This is college football. You can't keep guys forever, and so sometimes the people on the outside look at change as a bad thing, and I look at it just as opportunity. And I think we've talked about since the Big 12 that we've improved from where we were again a year ago at this time. So this is an opportunity for that to show, and for give guys an opportunity going into the 2024 season, experience and confidence and all of those things that they'll gain through
Hey, Brent, kind of going off that, what conversations have you maybe had with Danny? I know that it's been kind of reported out there that he let you guys know he's headed to the.
Let everybody know what his future is going to look like. Out of respect for him, I'll reserve comment for that moment in time. But all that being said, Danny had an amazing year. As good of a leader as we have on our team, as good of a leader as I've been around. His passion, his love, his respect, everybody around him better. And there's not a player in our locker room that loves the University of Oklahoma and respects his opportunity and what this has meant for him in his life more than Danny Stutzman. So I got great thankfulness and appreciation for everything that Danny represents and what he's done to help us, the last 2 years.
Coach Fisch, this one's for you. In all your stops, have you ever coached in the Alamo Dome or against Coach Venables?
Well, I have coached in the Alamo Dome. It was a preseason game of the Houston Texans versus the Dallas Cowboys in 2003. I think it was. So that was the last time I've been in the Alamo Dome, and have not had an opportunity to coach against Coach Venables, but I've certainly admired him from afar and admired the defense that he's always put out there. And you always know you're going to get an opportunistic defense. They lead the country in interceptions. You're going to get a defense that's going to be very hard to figure out their blitz patterns and their schemes. And I have a ton of respect for him, for Oklahoma. Oklahoma's won 10 games or more, 19 out of the last 23 years. We've won 10 games 3 times in 100 years. So Oklahoma football, something I look up to. I do know Coach Stoops. He did introduce me to my wife in 2000 at the AFCA Coaches Convention. So that's about the extent of my my real experiences with Oklahoma, but I certainly have a ton of respect for him.
Thank you, Coach. On the Zoom, Eli Lederman.
Yeah, Brent, as you're on the road this time of year, there's recruiting, there's the portal, there's player retention. How much more of a challenge is bowl season now and knowing who you're going to be bringing with you?
It's all hard. I say this, all the time, but it's all good. And whatever challenges, and it does present many challenges, but whatever challenges it presents Oklahoma, it presents the same thing for everybody else in college football. And so I love a challenge. I'm a competitive person by nature. And we're all, for the most part, some people would probably beg to differ, but we play by the same rules. And in some ways right now, there are no rules. And I say that tongue in cheek, but it's a very hectic time, but I rely on our staff. We've got a wonderful support staff, a really connected full-time staff. And again, there's several things that are going on right now with our current roster, just like everybody else's rosters, many things that you planned on. I think we've had a handful of players that are quote unquote in the portal, but we looked at them as seniors, as graduates, and as guys that weren't going to be a part of our program after this season. So the only thing that you don't know is whether or not they're going to try to go to the NFL or they're going to decide to maybe use that additional year of eligibility somewhere else. And so you do have to plan, make adjustments, if you will, and when it comes to your depth, and so that's a real thing. But other than that, I love putting puzzles, the pieces of the puzzle together. I've always really enjoyed that and trying to find great people. That's exciting to me. I've got amazing appreciation, thankfulness, and respect for what it means to be the head football coach at the University of Oklahoma and the excellence that it's represented for over 100 years. And so every decision I make when it comes to our current roster, and potentially a new player that we're going to bring into our program, I know everybody's counting on me to make a right decision. And so I love that. I love relationships. I love finding great people that also align in the values and the respect and appreciation for all the great things that Oklahoma has to offer. So it's for the next month, it's kind of like Christmas every day. It really is. I say that there's a lot of work that goes into it, as Coach Fisch can attest to as well. And but it's a little less work than we had a year ago at this time. Not much. We'll probably end up signing, give or take, around 30 35 to 37, new scholarship players. A year ago, we signed 42 scholarship players we brought in January. So close to another transformation, similar, quite a bit less when it comes to the transfer portal. We'll look to, sign, give or take, around 27 high school players. So I think 20 of them will be mid-year. So that's really exciting for me. We'll have, give or take, around 28, 29 mid-year players when we start in January.
Thank you. We'll do a question in the room and then a couple more on Zoom.
Hi there, Mike Board, iHeartMedia. This question is for Coach Fisch. You come in on a hot streak, wins over 4 ranked teams, a win over that other school in Tempe. How does it feel coming into this bowl game with everything clicking? And also, how do you let the guys have a little fun while they're here in San Antonio?
Oh, they can have fun on the 29th. Now, I always tell them that was a Coach Belichick line, that you Thanksgiving, Christmas, that happens in the spring. But we'll do our best to make it an incredible experience. We only have 8 players on our roster that's ever played in a bowl game, and that's out of 110 players. So, and all 8 of them are transfers. So this is a brand new experience for a majority of our team. It's a brand new experience for our players. So we want to make sure that our players understand it is a privilege to play in a bowl game. It is a celebration of a job well done. And to be able to be at this bowl game, the Valero Alamo Bowl, this is a wonderful opportunity for our guys to experience San Antonio, to experience some of the great joys of being here, the history of the Alamo, to be able to learn a little bit about a new area. And we're going to try to do our best to really show them the culture here the best we can. But in the end, we're here to play a football game. We're here to play a football game against a team that's historically won 7 national championships. So we understand and recognize this great challenge, and we're going to try to balance the challenge of competition with the balance of joy. And during that time, hopefully we can get them both done.
All right, we'll go back to the Zoom. Barry Trammell on the Zoom.
Yeah, Brent, can you help me sort of understand the Dillon departure? This appears to be a decision that was made even before the season started, a decision to move ahead with Jackson going forward. It's just sort of a unique situation. Can you shed some light on that?
Well, the only thing I would say, it didn't have anything to do with Jackson. I think Dillon had every intention to go to the NFL. In his mind, this was going to be his last season. He's going to have a great year, put himself in position to go, chase his dreams, in the NFL. And so, he's the best person to testify in regards to how he came to the decision to play another year, collegiately. But quite frankly, we did plan to, again, go into the 24 season without Dillon Gabriel. And Dillon, I think one of the things that he'll comment about is he went through something similar at UCF, with a quarterback there, and he knows the uniqueness of the situation. So, Dillon knows, certainly, he was more than welcome to stay and continue to compete and be, the quarterback at the University of Oklahoma. But that's just what decision that he came to. And again, like I said, he would be the best, person to really go in more depth and detail about what all went into that.
All right, we'll go for the Zoom. Wildcats Radio.
Gentlemen, for both of you, David Kelly, Wildcats Radio 1290. What is your most vivid early memory from your childhood of a bowl game that made you fall in love with this time of year in college football?
Coach Fisch, you want to go first?
Sure. I would say, it was actually funny. We were talking about it last night at dinner, that the Penn State Miami bowl game of the Orange Bowl in 1987, or Fiesta Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl of the national championship game. I remember being at my grandma's and grandpa's house in Florida. I was 10 years old, and I remember watching that game on TV, and they lived in South Florida, so there was a big Miami contingency. And that was a bunch of interceptions by Vinny Testaverde. But yet I think the final was 14-10 maybe, or something to that effect. And the fact that Miami still had a chance to win the game all the way at the very end. But Penn State won the national championship that year. But I think I fell in love with the game and with the idea of one day dreaming to be able to coach in one of those games. I think it was that bowl game right there.
Coach Venables?
I'm going to fast forward to my first bowl game experience. First time I was away from home for Christmas, and 1993 was in the Aloha Bowl at Kansas State, and I was a student assistant in Boston College. Coach Tom Coughlin, Mike Mamula, future first rounder for Boston College, and our team at Kansas State. I just remember as the first bowl game being away from home for the first time at Christmas, and calling on a payphone. We didn't have cell phones, wanting to know what's going on back home, and but the enrichment that you get out of every bowl game. I've been fortunate to be in a bowl game every year since, and all the memories that you have from a player standpoint. Nothing means more, or nothing lasts longer, makes more of an imprint than winning the game. That's probably what you value the most in all those bowl games. And then now you fast forward now, and we're coaches and we're dads. It's funny to hear the fans have an interest in which bowl game we're going to go to. The players always have an incredibly vested interest in the bowl games, but the coaches' kids have the most vested interest in which play parks, what the hotel's what the pool, what the weather. Do we have a beach? Is it Orlando? Is it San Antonio? Is it the Riverwalk? And so you get the thumbs up, the official approval from the coaches' kids.
Thank you, coaches. I think that's a great way to turn it over to Derek to close press conference.
Great. Thanks, Rick. And just want to thank both these coaches. Done a tremendous job with these programs, and definitely trending in the right direction. You look at what they've both accomplished so far this year, kind of harken back to last year as a springboard, not only into the spring ball, but also next season is really important. And I was actually texting with Coach DeVore and Coach Sark after their championship games. I said, hey, a year ago you were here. Now look, they're in the semifinals. So just giving you a little advanced premonition of what you're looking forward to next year. Can't guarantee you may match up against each other, but we'll give it the best try. But coaches, you've done a tremendous job. Great leaders of young men, which is so important on and off the field. We appreciate it. We appreciate you taking the time. As you've heard today, their time is so valuable, and they've got so many things going on. To be here today is really important to us, and we thank you for doing that. And we can't thank you enough for bringing your teams to the Valero Alamo Bowl. And we guarantee that we're going to make sure your student athletes have a great experience, and we'll be talking about that for the rest of their lives. So with that, thank you very much. For those of you who haven't gotten your tickets, alamobowl.com. Help us fill up the dome that night. And a special thanks to Gary and Valero for making all this possible. Without you, we're nothing. So thank you.